This single got over 200,000 streams in less than 3 months, and my last single got over 100,000 streams in less than 1 month. One part of my strategy to get these results are meta ads. So today I will show you my framework for creating the most effective meta ads. By the way, I've put everything that I'm showing today in a document that you can download for free in the description. Enjoy! Yeah, so let's start with the guide. I've divided it into 3 different parts. The first part is about the creative testing, the second part is about the targeting, and the third part is about the creative optimization and how I scale the results I've got. So let's dive right into the first part. So you always want to test different parts of the song. The reason for that is that you might think that one part is the catchiest and everybody is going to click on the ad if they hear the specific part of the song, but most of the time it's just a subjective feeling and won't really be the same in reality. So therefore you want to test different ads. However, if your budget is low, then you should find another way on how to get the catchiest part. And one thing you can do is you can go on TikTok, post different clips of your video, of your creatives of your song, and then just see which performs the best view-wise. And this is most of the time pretty consistent and works. So what makes a strong creative? You have to ask yourself, what is the vibe of the song? What lyrics can be heard in the ad? And who is the target audience? I have an example here, so let me show you the video real quick. This is one of my ads. And this performed pretty well, to be honest. And the vibe is a late night drive, speeding. The lyrics are, if you like to go fast, you can drive me home. And the target audience are people who love late night drives, pretty obvious. And yeah, the creative is just a motorcyclist speeding at night. This aligns with the vibe and resonates with the people who love motorcycles and driving. And is the perfect match for the song's energy. So if you are really consistent throughout everything, throughout the creative, throughout the lyrics, throughout the vibe, etc., then your ads should perform pretty well, because meta will show it to the right people after they've learned enough. So the next thing you should consider is the AIDA framework. You should use the classic AIDA model when building your videos, which is attention, interest, desire, action. Do I grab the attention right away? Do they want to keep watching? Do they want to hear the full song? And is there a clear call to action? In my case, I grab the attention by showing this bike and this biker vibing on his motorcycle, right? Which is pretty uncommon, I'd say, pretty weird. And scroll stopping, which is really important. The interest is that I implemented video cuts and showed the lyrics to keep them watching. The desire is that they want to feel like the writer does. And the song becomes part of that vibe, of that desire, right? And the action is, listen now, I've put a CTA in the video, in the caption, and on the link button, which is pretty important. Well, so other creative tips. The length of the video. The length of the video should be between 10 and 30 seconds. If it's too short, then they don't really have a chance to listen to the song and won't get the desire to listen to everything. If it's too long, then they won't see the CTA, the call to action. So therefore 10 to 30 seconds is the perfect sweet spot. Also, the cuts and lyrics should be on beat. That there's a harmonic feel with the music, you know? Pretty obvious as well, but common sense isn't common practice. Also make sure key elements aren't hidden by UI. So if you're in the reel sections, then you've got the comments on the right and the like button, etc., and the description below. And you don't want that anything in the video itself is hidden by these things. So make sure about that. Also the video quality should be fitting to the vibe. For example, don't over polish lo-fi music or also don't have 360 pixel videos, right? Also, like, the colors should fit visually throughout everything, like the font, the video, and the cover art. It all should blend perfectly together. Now we're coming to the next part, which is the targeting. To be honest, the ad itself, so the creative, is more important than the targeting. However, you can get some percentages better if you master targeting, right? And it is pretty important. So the age range, I am always using 18 to 65 plus, so the maximum. However, I've seen people that perform better if they do like 18 to 40, for example. But it depends really on your music, and most of the time Meta finds the right people, so just make it broad and they will find the right age range. For the countries, I use a combination from tier 1 and tier 2 countries. Tier 1 have the advantage that there's a higher Spotify payout, but the disadvantage that they also have higher ad costs. And the tier 2 is the opposite, lower payout but lower ad costs. So therefore I use a combination from tier 1 and tier 2 countries to trigger the algorithm, but don't have too expensive ads. Obviously, if you have a German song or a Mexican song or whatever, or a Dutch song, then don't advertise in places where they don't understand the language. My songs are in English, so therefore most of the people understand it. However, if your song is Dutch, don't advertise a Dutch song to Mexico. But that's pretty obvious as well. So the interests. You should also test different types of interests. And there are 4 specific things that I like to test. One is broad, so you put nothing in there and just let Meta figure it out itself. The second is the genre, so you can test like house music, psytrance music or whatever, depending on your genre, of course. Then also like similar artists with a similar sound that are big and successful already and have an audience. And the fourth is the creative relevant interest. For example, my ad showed in motorcyclists, so therefore I targeted motorcycle fans, and this performed way better than just leaving it broad, for example. Now we're already at the last stage, at the part 3, creative optimization, how I scale my results. So I usually do like $5 per day per ad set, and I turn off the bad performing ads after spending about $2 to $3. And on the first day of launching the song and launching the ads, I launch about 90 ads on day 1. Then I have 30 creatives, so 30 different videos with 3 interests and 90 ads in total. After about 12 hours, I turn off anything over 40 cents cost per result, because otherwise it's just way too much and I won't have an ad that maybe costs like €1 for a click to go down to like 20 cents or something where you can work with it, right? After about 18 hours, I also turn off anything that is an underperformer, so which costs over 30 cents, and I duplicate anything under 20 cents. Those are your early winners. However, we aren't satisfied with the cost per result, so therefore we keep working with them. We are lowering the cost per result. We're doing that by first duplicating the winners, because sometimes an ad at 13 cents drops to about 9 cents just from slightly different algorithmic targeting. So differences on what countries the algorithm focuses more on. For example, as you have seen, I've got this huge list of tier 1 and tier 2 countries, and sometimes they choose to put it to Mexico and Argentina, etc. And on the other hand, they might advertise it to Germany or find other spots where the cost per results is cheaper, but they won't test every country at the same time. So therefore, in the early stages, duplicating the winner can improve the performance for a couple of days until the learning phase is over, right? So the second is you adjust your winners. You take your winners and make new versions of your best creative. You go back into your editing software and try changes like the font or the font size, the brightness or color grading. Then you might add new text animations, a better call to action, or a different cut timing or transitions. The third step you can do is you can find similar winners. If a night driving motorcycle video works, then find another one and repeat the formula. Sometimes they perform even better and you found a new winner. Now we're already at the last stage. So what about new releases? If the new release has a similar vibe to your previous song, then leverage the knowledge you've gained before. Apply the 70-20-10 rule. For example, 70% of ads use the proven formats that already worked. 20% of the ads, new variations of those. For example, new colors, slightly different vibe. And 10% are totally new experience. For example, you've seen my ad, and if I'd try to make a street interview and show people my song, then that would be a whole new thing and a new experience. And yeah, that's about 10% of the ads. For my case, like 90 ad sets on day one, then that would be about 9, right? So, short note, make sure to always track your results with the same pixel. This will help Meta to find your previous target audience. Even if your song and creatives are brand new, it improves the performance over time and increases the likelihood of low costs. Yeah, pretty common sense. Using this strategy, I've gained a lot of experience and also gained incredible results, in my opinion. And yeah, just go ahead and copy me. If you have any questions, write them down below. Get the free guide. And if you want to reach 1 million streams in 1 year, so get your first 1 million streams guaranteed, then you can also go in the description and check it out. See you.